Welcome to the Other Discovery Show, the podcast that's not about podcasts. It is the bonus show from the Podcast Discovery Show that's about all of the other things that we've discovered throughout the week. I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach. And this week, I discovered something pretty awesome. Have you heard of NASA's program called DART?
No.
DART stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test.
Oh, this is
idea?
Armageddon.
It's Armageddon, but less stupid. Yes. No, I mean the classic hilarious bit about Armageddon.
Less Bruce Willis.
Yeah, less Bruce Willis. Like, honestly, the cast is kind of awesome. Bruce Willis, Steve Buscemi, Owen Wilson. Was that Ving Rhames? Or no, it was Michael Clark Duncan. All go into space to do weird drillings. And the constant hilarious question on that is it easier? And I think they even say it in that. Is it easier to train astronauts to drill or to send drill experts into space? And they're like, obviously the answer is not the one you put in this movie. It's much easier to teach an astronaut to do anything than to teach some guy who just like drills to go to space. But that's not what they went. But it is kind of that idea. So NASA just named the asteroid that is the first target for the DART system. So
man,
the first, and I don't know why they have to name it. Maybe because
they got a hit list.
They want to care about it first and then destroy it. I don't know. They have some weird stuff going on. I can't tell. But this first test mission is scheduled for 2021. It is not some far away.
That's not that far away.
No. So
I wish it was closer. 2020.
No, but here's the weird part. This asteroid was discovered 2 decades ago. What?
Nothing.
It was discovered 2 decades ago. So we saw this thing first 20 years ago, and now it's time for it to die. And they found it, and now it's getting close. I don't think it's supposed to hit us, but it's close enough that we can test the system. So,
I was going to say, so is it more like this isn't really a danger to us, but we want to know if we can do this for the one that might be a danger?
Yes, for the one that's actually going to hit us, we need to know if this will work. So they found one that's close enough. So there's something called NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office to protect the Earth from potentially hazardous asteroids and comets. And one of the executives in NASA said, potentially hazardous asteroids are a global concern, and we're excited to be working with our Italian and European colleagues to collect the most accurate data possible from this kinetic impact deflection demonstration. So here's how this thing works. They're going to shoot up essentially what is going to act like a satellite for, I guess about a year. I think in this article they had a timetable on when they were going to launch it. But they're going to, the spacecraft launch window begins in late 2021, late July, and it's going to be on a SpaceX rocket. It's going to get
a year
launched
from now.
Right. Yeah. And then it is supposed to nail an asteroid a year from then. So September 2022, mark it on your calendar, everyone. So it looks just like a satellite, essentially. It's got solar arrays. It's got new propulsion systems. And what it does is it uses electricity to propel it rather than like gas and things like that we typically use. And so it's going to go into space. It's going to put out its solar arrays, and it's going to start trucking towards this asteroid. And the plan is you get going fast enough that you nail this thing. Like kinetic impact just means it's just going to hit it. It's just going to hit straight into it and try and deflect the course.
That's like the rods of God or something that we.
Oh yeah, what they call it, the finger of God.
The things that they're just going to drop rods from space, and that would be like a nuclear bomb. When we were talking about space law on one of our previous episodes.
But yeah,
go back and listen to that episode, guys. Shameless plug.
But yeah, it's basically they are going to just slam this thing into it, and I don't know. The numbers don't mean anything to me like enough to understand it, but it's going to be at 6.6 kilometers per second. And then it's going to aim the thing and it's going to hit right where it's supposed to hit. And it's going to change the speed of the moonlet in its orbit by a fraction of 1%, but it will change the orbital period of the moonlet by several minutes, enough to be observed and measured using telescopes on Earth. So they can see if they've caused like a noticeable impact on it, because that's how we would be able to stop like an asteroid.
That is crazy. That is crazy. So I read an article from Cinema Blend, and it talks a lot about movies and things like that. And you're a movie guy, so you might enjoy this. In the movie Lord of War, the Nicolas Cage movie from like, what was it, like 2007 or something like that, 2005, he's an arms dealer, right? So they need a lot of guns. Well, in that movie, they actually bought 3,000 AK-47s that were real because it was cheaper than buying prop AK-47s. And they essentially ended up being arms dealers because they had to buy them. And then because of their budget, they had to sell them again. So there's this whole thing where the director, who is the one that like made the decision to buy the guns, like I said, they bought 3,000 Kalashnikov automatic rifles. And they said because it was literally cheaper than buying props of the same kind. He is quoted in saying, "In a way, my film is a how-to about becoming an arms dealer. But during the making of it, I needed guns in the Czech Republic, and it was cheaper to use real guns than replicas. I bought 3,000 Kalashnikovs and then sold them back at a loss. I wouldn't make a very good arms dealer."
No, but it's just ridiculous that while making that type of a movie, he had to buy real guns because they're cheaper than fake ones. That's...
but they even talked about how like the director, he was not entirely keen on selling the guns back into circulation. But because of their budget, they weren't able to destroy them all. They did destroy some of them, but they weren't able to destroy all of them because they needed some of that money back.
It's funny because sometimes it does happen. I think it was Poltergeist, one of those like 80s horror movies. Instead, they wanted to buy a bunch of fake skeletons and stuff for a scene, and it's much cheaper to buy real ones. And so they ended up like having like an entire scene full of like real skeletons, which is horrifying. But
that is horrifying. He's quoted again as saying, "In South Africa, we did cut some guns in half to stop them from getting into circulation. The fact that it was so easy to buy guns was disturbing. We also got some tanks." And the guy said, "I need them back by December because I'm selling them to Libya."
Oh, God. Everything about that movie makes it sound like that movie needed to be made.
Oh, man. But yeah, it's just so funny and crazy that I just thought, I've always found it fascinating about like props and movies and stuff and how they find them, what they use and things like that. And this was a fascinating one. And of course, it was an amazing movie by Nicolas Cage, my favorite actor.
He's done some great movies. I haven't seen Lord of War, but I've actually heard that's one of his best ones.
I actually have seen it. It's not bad. It's a good movie. Well, in 2005 when I saw it in theaters, it was good, but I don't know if it holds up.
It should. It's not that type of movie. It's not like timely, really.
No, I think it says it's streamable on Netflix right now.
So everybody can check it out. Those are all real guns. That actually makes it a little better. So we love to bring awesome discoveries from the Podcast Discovery Club because it's really fun over there and there's people sharing cool stuff all the time. And this week we got a really cool one from Keith over at Pop-Up Filmcast and a frequent contributor to the Podcast Discovery Club,
Keith.
And he posted the best virtual tours of national parks, zoos, and more in each state. So we are seeing that COVID is sticking around. We're all stuck at home still. I don't know. I'm starting to feel not being able to travel. It's getting a little stir crazy sometimes. It's helpful that we have stuff like the podcast and we can go to work and things like that. I'm fortunate in a lot of ways, but I miss traveling and learning about new stuff and going new places. So this is a way that although it's not exactly the same, you can explore the country a little bit. Because we do have pretty incredible natural landscapes in this country, and there's some that I'm sure all of us haven't seen. So you can go state by state and find cool things within each one. So let me just go straight to Florida. Let's see how we're being represented on this list. If your Florida
St.
vacation
Augustine.
was canceled
Bet you what they're going to start.
due to the coronavirus, there are virtual ways to still enjoy Walmart or Wawa or the Dollar General.
I know you're making that crap up.
Yeah, that's fake. There's virtual ways to enjoy the magic of Disney World, as well as the state's art and culture. You can even explore museums you might not have visited on your trip, like the Dolly Museum in St. Pete, which is offering virtual online tours. But yeah, Dolly's an awesome one.
You ever been there?
Yeah.
I haven't been in that museum. I mean,
it's awesome.
I know where it's at, but I haven't been to it.
Yeah, it's in St. Pete. It's in Florida. But yeah, this one looks cool. So Hawaii has one with active volcanoes. So you can go check out awesome active volcanoes.
That's something that's always fascinated me on like the Discovery Channel and stuff since I was a kid was volcanoes. I don't know why, but they're just so cool looking and terrifying at the same time. Hey, do you remember not that long ago when like there was volcanoes all over Hawaii that were erupting?
Yeah.
And they had like videos of like cars being eaten by lava and stuff. Slow moving lava like down the road.
It is kind of mind-blowing that literally Hawaii wasn't there before volcanoes.
It's crazy. It's crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It is wild though. But yeah, no, it's a really cool list. We'll throw it in the show notes, and also Podcast Discovery Club is where you can find this stuff the fastest.
Yeah, join it over there. We share a new discovery almost every single day. Some really cool stuff. I found some really neat ones that I'm excited to share that you guys are going to like. So yeah, join us over there, or you can see the same ones if you follow us on Twitter. But either way, say hi when you join. I think you're the next one as well.
Okay. So I also discovered this week there is a new app out called Value Identity. And it is just kind of an interesting premise. So I've seen a couple things sort of like this, and it's mainly just interesting to think about how they're all trying to access this, where content creators and in general, each user has a value instead of just kind of the value being from just the platform to the advertisers. So typical like Facebook model is an advertiser pays Facebook to access people rather than like Facebook paying to like access us. You see what I mean? We're cut out of that equation, even though we're where the value's at. So Vid, and I actually saw this from one of my friends on Facebook, I think. So each day you open this app, and we're not sponsored by this. I just thought it was interesting, and it's something that we might move like the show to putting some content on there because it's something where you can earn cryptocurrency essentially.
It sounds interesting.
Using the app and also from just logging into it. And they also it's kind of, they call it social networking. So it's not like you must be like a content creator in the traditional sense to do this. A lot of it is like you can post a video diary or you can make whatever you want on there. It's just more about like just do stuff on there and use the platform, and they give you value income, which I think is their like coin, and it's a digital currency that can be converted into your local currency at any time. Where does the value of it come from? So I think it's based on general rate in your own specific country. So it's all very specific to where you're from, but you can take it out apparently. So it's basically working on the idea of user to user. So everybody is trying to create, and you are rewarded for creating on this platform. And it was mostly just something that I thought was interesting. And it's definitely something that me and Kirk will check out going forward, because we're always like looking at fun ways to reach out to people and interact. And it sounds interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting platform. And hey, if it takes off, that those coins might actually be worth something.
Yeah.
We'll see. You never know. That's the thing with cryptos. You never know if it's going to be worth anything or not. You get in when it's cheap. Yeah. I found an amazing article on mentalfloss.com, and it's talking about animals who have ran for office. And I love it. I'm not going to talk about every single animal because there's 14 of them on this list.
Okay, I do really like this because it's a real thing. Like, it seems like something fake that they have on sitcoms, but it's not. It happens.
So this is actually like the first recorded animal to take office was during Caligula's reign in Rome in 41 CE. So I don't even know what CE stands for.
Current era. It's like it's the AD. You know, they changed AD to CE, current era.
And then in this article it says, during the last century, dogs, goats, rhinos, mules, and more have all run for office, and some have actually won. They talk about a bunch of these. I'm gonna mention this one because I liked this one a lot. This is the year my dad was born. Boston Curtis. In 1938, Republicans in the town of Milton, Washington, unwittingly elected a mule as their new precinct committee man. The ruse was the work of Milton's Democratic mayor, Kenneth Simmons, whose goal was twofold: to embarrass the Republicans and make a statement about the inefficiency of the primary system. With no other names put forward, Simmons registered a mule, whom he named Boston Curtis, to fill the vacant Republican post. Despite knowing nothing about this mysterious candidate, voters elected Boston Curtis with 51 votes. It was only when the results of the uncontested election was announced that residents of Milton realized that they had elected a long-eared brown mule as their new committee man. After the hoax was revealed, it was declared that the mule had returned to the Democratic fold. I mean,
like a troll? That's ridiculous.
It's great. This was a troll in 1938 saying, you guys will vote for anybody. You don't even care what you're voting for. You're just looking
they elected a donkey or a mule. Honestly, I could get behind that right now. I could get behind proving that people need to read about who they're voting for.
I like this one a lot. So I'm not going to read this one, but I'll tell you the gist of it. Cacareco. There we go. This is Brazil, so it's Portuguese. So there was a rhinoceros in a zoo in Sao Paulo, and apparently there was a lot of people that were not happy with the current political climate. And so they put this rhino on the ballot, and he got 100,000 votes, and the other candidate received 10,000. I will read this. Election officials rejected her candidacy, but the electorate had made its point. To this day, the term voto careco is used in Brazil to refer to a protest vote. So it's literally, it was basically a protest, but that is the best kind of protest where you vote for a stinking rhinoceros.
I mean, yeah, I was wondering if they would let them be elected, and I mean, okay, to be fair, yes, it makes sense that they don't let a rhinoceros be an actual government leader, but I was kind of hoping they got a shot to see what they could do in the government, see what kind of efficiency they could have. What kind of animal do you think would make the best mayor?
The best mayor, a gator.
A gator? Why?
I don't know. I just pulled an animal out of my butt.
I'm trying to think something noble like an elephant.
Elephants are pretty cool. Elephants are very smart. I want a dolphin. There we go. I want a dolphin. Dolphins are smart.
Town hall meetings are in the water.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it sounds nice here in Florida.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's hot.
And in New Zealand, they have elected a goat by a landslide in 1999, and they also elected, and in 2003 they elected a poodle, which only lasted for 1 year. Her presidency marred by a non-fatal attack by another dog, which some locals claim was a political assassination attempt.
That is ridiculous.
That there's so many in here and they're so good. I do want to read this one real quick because this is in the US and this is, I don't get how this is a thing. And there's actually a picture of this dog, and it's very cute. The United States has a fine tradition of electing animals to office, with some towns regularly electing four-legged mayors. The unincorporated town of Idlewild, California, has elected 2 canine mayors since 2012. Mayor Max I was the first golden retriever to take office, but he was an aging political veteran when elected and sadly died a year later at just over 12 years old. The town soon began looking for a successor. Another golden retriever, Maximus Mighty Dog Mueller II, was elected in 2014.
That's a name.
At just 11 months old. Yeah, Maximus Mighty Dog Mueller II. Despite his inexperience, Mayor Max II proved to be a hugely popular mayor, and upon his third election was appointed mayor for life. So this dog's going to be mayor forever. Well, as long as he lives. But this is a great article about all of these different animals that have been elected. It's all over the world. In Louisiana, they elected a crawfish at one point. Yeah,
that's a random one. I don't know if is it always trolling? Like, I don't understand.
It does seem like it's mainly trolling. They've been more than one goat. There's some gorillas, some monkeys. It's a pig. Yeah, there's some. It's a cool article. So we'll have it in the show notes. Go read some more about these officials that were animals and probably do a better job than some of our elected officials.
And that's the real problem.
Right now. All right. Well, I think that does it for this week's episode of the Other Discovery Show. You got any other discoveries, Zach?
Not this week. I should have music again next week is what I'm hoping.
All right. Yeah, hopefully we can get back to regular life sometime soon. It looked like we were going to get there, and then things are going the opposite direction now.
It's not going to happen. Not right now.
So, yeah, until next time, we will talk to you guys. What am I saying? I don't know how to end this because we don't have a saying, and I'm used to just leading into your music. That's amazing. Well, and now we don't have that. So you do
everybody,
this. I'm gonna
join the Podcast Discovery Club. We wanna talk to you and share discoveries together. We have a Twitter account. We have a Twitch account. YouTube. We got all kinds of stuff. Get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
This was a podcast from the Podfix Network.